Welcome back to the 7th Grade Mustache. On today's episode, we'll be speaking about the fallen. The people have been bodied in speaking out. The people have been innocent bystanders and those who are actually warriors fighting against the darkness. We're going to start by talking about DMX. Rest in peace, DMX. There is a story circulating that he died from a drug overdose. Well, breaking news. DMX took the vaccine. He took the coronavirus vaccine. Now, what is not being reported is the fact that the AstraZeneca vaccine causes blood clots. These blood clots can cause heart failure and heart attack.
Like I said, I'm just hearing this out secondhand. I don't know his family, forgive me. But they're saying that he couldn't have used drugs at that period of time, that he was not on drugs. They're saying that he got the vaccine and he's been going downhill ever since. My big issue with this, I'm not telling anybody to get it or not get it. But what I'm saying is this is the third black person we lost that wasn't this normal person. The first one was Hank Aaron, great athlete. Next was Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Now DMX. Now, if you want to say DMX had problems in the past, fine. But the other two individuals we named in great health. So I'm not telling anybody to not take it or take it, whatever. You know, I understand you're worried, but you got to sit here and look at this is not okay. I heard, like I said, I got to find the website. But one of the numbers I heard that they've had 17,000 deaths attributed to the vaccines, these different vaccines. That's some crazy shit, y'all.
What I'm about to go into now is going to dive deeper into what we started with. The former president of Tanzania, John Magufuli, was buried on March 26th. He received a hero's burial in his home country, and here's why. This dude was no joke. He was railing against the Illuminati. Babylon. Straight up and down. If there was any person that is walking the walk and talking the talk, it was him. And it was a brother from Tanzania who was the president. He served from 2015 until this year in 2021. Today. So, 6 years of straight up fury. Let's get into that fury. Because I gotta give his stats first, so people understand who he is. I know. So dig it. This guy kicked out Monsanto. He kicked out the Rockefeller Foundation.
Cartels,
he was having their offices raided by police. He kicked out big oil corporations and mining corporations. The largest deposit of nickel is in Tanzania. He revoked the mining license that was partially owned by a Canadian company, and the other half was owned by a company that is controlled by Mossad, Israeli CIA. Israelis. Yes, their intelligence agency. But check this out. So he disappeared at the end of February 2021. Yep. 3 days before his death, the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations, stated that his disappearance may have been an inside job. That's already diversion. They're running interference. So they're attempting damage control against a guy who has been railing against their monkey asses since day one when he stepped into office. Now, dig this.
Slow down. Oh, remember, we talked about this guy before. When we first got into the whole COVID conversation, this was the president that we had talked about where the World Health Organization was in his country, and he said he gave him samples.
He kicked them out. He kicked them out.
But remember how the story went? He gave them samples, and they go, all the samples tested positive for COVID. He said, really? That was a jackfruit, a goat, and a peach.
This is true. He was clowning them, man.
Yeah, he said, no, thank you. I don't want. And then they try to discredit this guy. But come to find out, he has like a master's degree in chemistry. The guy's like a genius. So just the facts that when you don't go with the narrative, they're going to kick dirt on your name any way they can. And so So the white media made it seem like he is just some backwater country.
Wackadoo dude from the bush in Africa.
And they love to make you shit. Check his credentials. This man was a fucking genius and brilliant man. And like my brother just stated, go ahead with the numbers, but I just want to let you know, like when he fucked with the World Health Organization. He's like, yeah, nah, I give you some samples, test them. Oh, they all test positive. You're positively crazy. He was not.
Okay.
So Go ahead.
This man had vision. He realized that what's going on with Facebook and how they are encircling the continent of Africa with fiber optic cable. So on the surface, that sounds like that is just harmless and
It's a good thing.
we're
Yeah.
building a better world and all this shiny, happy bullshit they want to sell you. Not the case. What that is going to be is a communication system that controls all the information going in and out of the
Out.
continent. And they can turn on and off, just like the same way Obama turned off the internet to North
North Korea.
Korea. Okay, they can turn off the internet and turn off the lights in Africa whenever they feel like it. See, what you're not hearing is the chatter that's going around and how the Council on Foreign Relations and other related think tanks are saying
Trilateral commission, the old
they're
school shit.
they're saying that the greatest asset from the continent of Africa is their youth. Wait a minute, that sounds
Wait a
like
minute.
slavery. That sounds like a new form of slavery. That sounds like biogenetic data slavery. That sounds, wait on, hold on, brother. Hang on. This sounds like the new feudalism that we've been talking about on many, many
For
episodes.
years. But no, what I wanted to point out, when it comes to government, we're so used to government fucking us over, doing us bad. When you had an actual president who had power and had the ability to,
He was
love
showing
and
you
protect
how
the people.
it's done.
Yes, he's showing you the.
This motherfucker
See,
was the Black Panther
he did it.
without
Yes.
vibranium.
He did. He had nickel, motherfucker. He had nickel. No, what he did was, this is the way it's supposed to be done. That the representatives that we elect are supposed to care about the people and care about them enough to not poison them mentally and physically. That's what this guy did. And when we see it, to discredit him. Now, hold on. But this is what the show is about. He got ghost. They killed him. Now you tell me this man had a heart attack. How come these heart attacks conveniently happen at the wrong damn time? He disappeared almost a month ago. Even back then, the rumors were that he had COVID. And his people said, nah, he did not have COVID. Then all of a sudden he resurfaces, he's dead. That's because what he did was he was saving his nation from these fucking vultures.
Okay.
It's now.
Okay, slow down. So here's the thing. You know, it has been known that for many years that intelligence agencies have got some of their tech from pharmaceutical companies, and some of this tech allows them to cause heart attacks in people. Yes, but you can cause heart attacks in people by using frequencies and pharmaceuticals. So let's just say they gave him some concocted medicine when he was at the hospital for whatever sickness he may have had, or if he went for a checkup and the doctor gave him a pharmaceutical, they passed it to him and said, hey, give this to him, and this is going to cause his heart valves to deteriorate. Dude, so these things happened all the time. For example, the last year in 2020, the former president of Burundi kicked out the World Health Organization. In May 2020, he died 3 weeks later of heart failure. So let me get this straight. This African president of Burundi died of heart failure 3 weeks after he kicks out the WHO. And then the same thing happens a year later to John Magufuli, the president of Tanzania, because he was raging against the machine, telling people not to take the vaccine and that all this is a fraud. He's kicking out all these multinational corporations and their invisible hands, slapping them on the hands, slicing their wrists, saying, get the fuck out of my country. Oh, he dies of heart failure too? Okay. Fuck out of here with that stupid shit.
See, okay, me and you have been talking about this for years. We all know these different little cases, and nobody wants to talk about it. But I remember the first time this really got out of hand. I want to say it was like 2007, 2008. Me and you talked about it. There were all these articles about all these different scientists, biochemists. All these guys were about 100. Remember, it was 127 of them all died. They all died within a year and 7 months. And it was crazy because I'm like, okay, these guys were in perfect health. And that's just it's a coincidence that all these guys who were the best in their fields all died at the same time. Nobody's bothered. And when you look at the list, it was just a crazy list. And so this thing has been happening for years, where people sit there and they're they speak in the machine. They recognize real things. They want to make real change, and all of a sudden they're dead. So everybody has the flu. Now, none of these piece of shit people get the flu. None of these whack ass rappers, YG, none of these garbage motherfuckers get die of heart attacks. But DMX, somebody who was beloved. Look, people, we're not saying every death is attributed to the CIA, but we're saying that when these heads of these countries, people who can make real difference, people who could actually stop it and make a movement, they end up dying. We talked about Gaddafi. Gaddafi was uniting African nations. Anytime somebody tries to build up and actually have power and make a difference, they end up dead. So it's not a coincidence. You got to be aware of this shit. And at the same time, we're not telling you to live in fear. We're telling you to recognize the signs and see that, okay, obviously they don't have your best interest at heart.
Okay. You also have to understand the power structure and the invisible architecture that is in Africa now. For example, there is the Jamestown Foundation. The Jamestown Foundation is a think tank that's involved in development in West Africa. Jamestown, as in Liberia. Liberia is a complete shit show because it was a colony for freed slaves that were allowed to come back to Africa. And it has been controlled by the United States government behind the scenes ever since it was created. And it has been kept in a state of chaos on purpose. So you got to understand the Jamestown Foundation has former CIA directors on their board. Come on, man. That is controlled by intelligence agencies to monitor and control situations in Africa. But let's now jump back to 1996. 1996, there was a journalist for the San Jose Mercury News, and he wrote a very famous news article that maintained the CIA supported a drug ring based in Los Angeles that triggered the crack epidemic of the 1980s. And here's a quote from Gary Webb. He says, "The one thing that's important and a lot of people don't recall is that the Iran-Contra affair and the Contras were a creation of the CIA. The Contras were dealing drugs in Los Angeles and elsewhere. These drug traffickers were meeting with CIA agents." Hang on a second. Okay. It says, the Contras were dealing drugs in Los Angeles and elsewhere. These drug traffickers were meeting with CIA agents, When you had all this cheap cocaine going into South Central Los Angeles, right at the time people were figuring out how to take this powder cocaine and turn it into crack. You had a sort of collision of historical events in a very odd place. In 2004, the official cause of death was suicide. But when you look at the autopsy report for Gary Webb in 2004, it was gunshots, 2 to the back of his head. For people that speak out, wait. For people that speak out.
Explain to them why.
When people speak out, hang on, man. When people speak out against government, they often die of suicide. And the trademark is 2 shots to the back of the head. Now, I want everybody listening to make a gun with your fingers, and I want you to put it to the back of your head. Now, pull the imaginary trigger. Your head is going to fly forward. You're not going to have time or the muscle nerve power to pull the trigger a second time.
Twice. Look, the whole thing is when people get suicided, you got to pay attention to the why. There's 2 whys. One, he exposed the CIA. But 2, you got to understand that the government does this shit all the time. When they can't fund a black operation, they provide the coke, and the CIA provides the cocaine. That's what they were doing. We were supporting the Contras, but we couldn't give them money directly. So what did the CIA do? They gave them cocaine. They sold the cocaine in our black neighborhoods to fund a movement that they weren't supposed to have their hands on. So it's a deep thing. But what my brother's trying to tell you is that whenever these people actually have real information and the real ability to affect change, like, oh, we don't want that. The CIA, they'll suicide him, or they'll give him a heart attack, or there's so many ways to get rid of these real people, and then next they're on the back page, and we're not even thinking about the messaging. We're not thinking about what they were trying to do.
Okay, so you got to understand historical context and what was going on at the time. And it's important that you realize that the president of the United States at that time was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was also the governor of Arkansas in the late 70s. So here's the deal. Old Slick Willie was involved in the MENA drug smuggling, gun running situation that was controlled by the CIA, which means this guy was in cahoots with the CIA for a long time. So when he becomes president and this news article is all over the place, it's catching fire, it's on the TV, they're talking about it. They're trying to use damage control with Operation Mockingbird.
Yep.
And they want to have their controlled news outlets poo-poo the information that's in this Gary Webb's article called Dark Alliance. And they want to discredit him, and they did. They smeared his name, they smeared his credentials. They then drove a wedge between him and his wife.
Yep.
They caused all of this psychological warfare to occur. So it's important that you understand that Slick Willie, Bill Clinton, was the governor in Mena, Arkansas. In Arkansas, when those planes were flying into Mena, and they were dropping off guns and drugs. They even made a movie about it. It had Tom Cruise in it.
Yeah, the new one, the latest one.
It's called Made in America. But listen, this is what I want to say. When Gary Webb's Dark Alliance article dropped, guess what else happened around the same time as damage control? The Monica Lewinsky fiasco. So we need to put out this fire.
Mass distraction.
We need a larger fire. We need an inferno to cover up this forest fire. So, Bill, listen. So let me ask you hold tight. So, Bill, you're going to take an L for us because we did you plenty of favors, and we put you in that seat you're in now, and you need to take an L. We're going to have a chick come in there and slob the knob.
See, I was about to say.
You're going to be in trouble, but we need to cover this shit up.
So is that the first president that had his dick sucked? Is that what you're telling me? Are you telling me that this is such a foreign thing to you? But that's a mass distraction. They hit you with a distraction that you're going to be opinionated on. Yes. You got an opinion about this. Everybody had an opinion about it. By doing that, all this other shit's going on in plain sight.
But here's the thing though. What you got to understand is that there's layers and layers of cover up, because the Iran-Contra affair, Bill Clinton was massively involved in this gun running scenario by allowing this to happen in his state, by allowing these planes to fly into his state. So, but the scapegoat of that situation was Ollie North, yep. Exactly. So he drew all the attention away from Bill Clinton. But see, Bill thought he fucking skated and he was cool and everything was fine. No. Because 10 years later, he would take the fall for this Gary Webb story. So you see what happens here? When they get a problem, they come up with a solution. And that solution is one guy takes the fall for everybody to take the opinion. A smaller person shields a bigger person. But later on, the president was the smaller person that shielded a bigger mechanism.
Bigger cover up. Well, here's the thing. If any of you guys who don't believe this, they have books written about all the mysterious deaths surrounding the Clintons.
Okay, I'm about to get into that now. Okay, I'm about to get into that right.
I'm sorry.
Now,
stepping on no toes.
So let's start. We're not going to start in the past. We're going to start most recently.
In the present.
In 2015, there were deaths. There were deaths. And I'm just going to name off some of these people. And I'm going to name off what their titles were so you would understand. And I also want you to see the connections in the types of death and how these deaths are being committed. For example, in June of 2015, Walter Scheib died. He was a Clinton White House chef. Okay. And then in 2000, there was a Clinton lawyer, Charles Ruff. He died. And in June of 2000, an anti-corruption journalist, Tony Moser, died. Okay, a friend of the Clintons died that same year. All right, let's see. Let's just keep going because this gets more and more interesting. And I want you to see the coincidences here, or if they are coincidences. For example, you had a witness to something that was involved with the Clintons that died in 1997. You have the staff director on the House of Permanent Select Committee on the Intelligence Committee died in June of 2000. All right. You had the Democratic National Committee's main fundraising effort co-chairman Daniel Dutko died in July of 1999. John F. Kennedy Jr., senator from New York, who was campaigning against Hillary Clinton, died in a plane crash. Okay? And that was a private jet, dude. Private jet.
One more. Don't forget about.
But hold on. No. The symbolism. That's JFK's son. That was JFK. That was John F. Kennedy Jr. Listen to the name.
The most powerful cat coming up against her
most recognized assassination in current history was his father. Okay? Listen, you got White House interns dying, the White House counsels dying, the chief of naval operations in 96, Admiral Jeremy Bourda, died. You had William Colby, the director of the CIA, died in April of 1996. Now, check this out. These are all the Clinton bodyguards that died. Let me count these guys. These dudes now, and it's important you understand context. And the reason is because Hillary Clinton always had a problem with bodyguards and Secret Service people.
Treating them like shit.
And she would whenever she would walk through the halls of the White House, she would make everybody turn and face the walls. Nobody could look her in the face. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts. But
they die mysteriously, or they get reassigned, and then they die. And that was the whole.
All right, so you got to understand how wicked just Hillary was, and the way she would treat the help, quote unquote. So I'm going to name a number of people that died, and these are all Clinton bodyguards. And this is in a short period of time, which is ironic. All these people died in 1993, 95, and 99. Now, this is odd. This is really odd because they were dying around the same time. So, for example, you would think, okay, if there was a crash and a bunch of dudes died in a helicopter, all right, fine. But these people died in February and March of 1993 and April of 93 as well. But so check this out. I'm going to read off some of their jobs and what these bodyguards are doing. So Major General William Robertson, Deputy Commanding General of the Veteran Corps of Europe, died in February of 1993. Colonel William Densberger, okay, Veteran Corps Chief of Operations, died in the same day in 1993. There's a bunch of these guys died on the same day in 1993. All right, so listen, check this out. A Clinton bodyguard died 5 days later on February 28th, 1993. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 bodyguards died on one day in 1993. And I'm like, hold on. What the fuck happened on February 28th, 1993? And then on March, the next month, almost a whole full moon later for the occultist, a whole full moon later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5 bodyguards died. Wait a minute, man. Look at this shit. So we got 5 bodyguards dying in February on the 28th, and then you have another 5 dying on March the 26th. What in the fuck is this about, dude? I really want to know. This is odd. Listen, a whole lunar cycle later, another 5 men are dead.
They're tying up loose ends, but why? What do these people know? What have they witnessed that's so...
Dude,
so bad?
check this out. Check this out. Wait. Alan Witcher oversaw Clinton's Secret Service detail. He died on April the 19th, 1995. Wow. A crewman for Marine One, the helicopter, presidential helicopter, died. This motherfucker died. Hold on a second. Yeah, he died on March the 22nd, 1999. Dude, this shit is crazy. Hold on. We got another 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the same year, 2 months later, 1, 2, 3, 4 bodyguards died. 4 bodyguards died on May 19th, 1993.
This is the worst job in America. This is worse than like.
Why do you want to protect this bitch? Why would you want to protect these motherfuckers, man?
Don't nobody want that job.
Dude, hold on. August 18th, 1996, a Secret Service agent died. Okay, all right. Let's see. We got aircraft commander died, and a pilot died on August 18th, 1996. So these are aircraft that are going down. Now, okay, if Bill and Hillary were in all these fucking crashes, you would know about it. The president's helicopter went down. Air Force One has crashed. Do you realize how big of a fucking story that would be? If all these fucking presidential aircrafts were fucking just going down all the time, do you know how much of an uproar the military would be in? That these motherfuckers can't do their job?
Roscoe, who's the black guy? Remember the black guy?
Wait, we gonna get him. No. We gonna get to Ron Brown.
Hold it. Slow down.
Ron Brown.
It's literally over 100 deaths are associated to the Clintons. Indirectly. I'll bring up the guy, the bodyguard in Waco. Remember, he got killed by friendly fire.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's associated with him.
Dude, wait. Yeah, dude. So look, man, Marine pilot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 died in a helicopter crash on April the 8th, 2000. Okay, this is what I understand. There's a lot of fucking crashes going on, but ain't no Clintons on these fucking planes. There's no Clintons on these helicopters.
Only people associated with the Clintons.
Or only people that saw shit.
Slow down. Let me tell you something. If you've been a Clinton bodyguard and you get on a plane and you see another Clinton bodyguard, get the fuck off. Just, hey, Ralph. Hey, what's up, Courtney? Oh, shit. Get the fuck off. Y'all motherfuckers ain't gonna make it. This is how they tie up loose ends. Whatever the fuck you guys know, and like I said, this is the theme of the show, that when people know shit, they get ghosted. They're gone. They get eliminated, erased.
Okay.
Erased. They can't take no chances.
Okay. Dead female associates of Bill Clinton. Suzanne Coleman had an affair with Bill when he was Attorney General. She died on the the day after Valentine's Day, 1997. Ain't that a bitch? That must fucking Hillary ordered that shit. She's like, kill that bitch.
See, okay, I know you know about the story of that one black kid that they say is Clinton's. He swore it down when Bill was governor of Arkansas. Hillary tried to kill his mom twice. So they threw her off a 6-story building. Again, I don't know.
That's
if it's
a
true.
bad bitch, man. She can fucking. She can live.
See, crackheads survive shit they ain't supposed to. I think she was a crackhead. She's been through shit.
Yeah, but you know what? Wait. Was she really? Or was that something that was designed to smear her reputation?
Hold it. You are correct. I apologize. You may be correct on that one. I'm sorry, Roscoe. You're right about that. But what they're saying is that the conniving of the Clintons go back to when he was governor, of Arkansas.
Dude, so this motherfucker had an affair with the deaf speech interpreter. She died.
I'm so sorry.
She died a month after this motherfucker was elected president.
Look, she wasn't gonna say shit.
Listen,
Oh, my bad.
listen. A former penthouse a former penthouse model and Arkansas call girl, Judy Gibbs, died in 1986. Dude, there's investigators. Paul Wiltshire, Washington attorney investigating gun running out of Mena, Arkansas, died in June of 1993. Mm. Yeah, there was a private investigator. Name was John Parnell Walker. He died. Check this out. There are dead witnesses to Clinton activity. Luther Parks, head of Clinton's gubernatorial security team in Little Rock, died September 26, 1993. James Bunch, John Wilson, Bill Shelton, Kathy Ferguson, Candy Ball. Listen to this shit. Candy Ball was the attorney representing Mr. Lassiter, a Clinton associate, in a case concerning alleged financial misconduct. Died
Was that the Whitewater?
Yes.
What was that big scam they were in?
Yes, that
I
was
wanna see, I don't wanna get the wrong
January
name.
of 1994. Dude, listen, Donald Rogers, a dentist from Arkansas who had dirt on the Clintons, got murked. Dude,
He'll kill a janitor. Excuse me, pardon me, even going back to the Haiti thing, they made a shitload of money.
dude,
Going back
there was
to the oil sand
hold on a
thing
second, hold on a
with
second.
David Rodham, the brother.
There was a documentary about this actual list we're talking about, the Clinton body count. It was called the Clinton Chronicles. John Hillier, he was the NBC freelance cameraman, died. Dude,
Lord.
this is crazy. Yeah, man. Ron Brown, former chairman of the DNC and Clinton Commerce Secretary, died on May 3rd, 1996, in a plane crash. So, there is a lot. There's people in Mena, Arkansas on this list, just murked, dead. They said there's at least 20 people that was connected to the Mena, Arkansas airport gun running scenario that died. 20 people. Just 20 people related just to that. Yeah. And they died in 89. A lot of them died in 88 and 89. Just taken out.
Here's what we're trying to get across to you. The reason that Trump made it into office is because people really didn't. People were that afraid of the Clintons. They're like, look, we don't trust this bitch. Look, the Clintons have killed people for no reason. They make money imputed. Have you? You're in Atlanta, Roscoe. Have you met anybody that met them, or have you been around anybody that's been around them?
Yes. I used to work. Used to work for the federal government. And
I know. What do those people tell you about them?
This is what I can tell you about those people. Those people that have worked with the Clintons that worship them have a reptilian vibe.
One of the homies from Omaha, you know his brother, you might not know him, and he said, man, he was at some parties in New York, and he said this is the one who told you that Dave Chappelle warned him, like, don't go to certain parties and shit like that. And he's like, look, he said they walk in the room he said they glide in the room. They want to be worshipped. They literally want to be adored the whole time. And then he said you even get that creepy vibe. He said you get the goosebumps, not for admiration, but for like, these are some cold motherfuckers. These are some, and
okay,
people talk about that shit.
Check this out. So just a minute ago, I was talking about how there's a person named Lassiter, a guy named Lassiter, that was being investigated for misconduct and money laundering. Well, it turns out that that Dennis Patrick, an Arkansas court clerk that laundered millions through his account at Lassiter and Company without his knowledge, there were 4 attempts on his life. Gary Johnson had videotapes of Clinton entering Jennifer Flowers' apartment. He was beaten near death and left for dead, and his tapes were taken. Larry Nichols, former official at ADFA and author of the Clinton Chronicles book, several attempts on his life. Russell Welch, infected with military-grade anthrax. A reporter, L.J. Davis, was investigating Clinton scandals, attacked at his hotel room in Little Rock, and his notes were stolen. So what you're seeing is these are politicians that use the military, that use intelligence agencies, that use criminals to enforce their control over the population, over people, over regular people, over the masses.
Of everybody. Period.
Yeah.
Going back to Magufuli, I want to say, I hope I don't say his name wrong.
Magufuli.
When he disappeared, how do you know these people weren't torturing him to make him say something different? Maybe he went down with the ship. Maybe we don't know what really happened. Maybe he's like, look, you can't make me say these things. You can't make me do these things. He might have been a badass, because from everything we've seen so far of this man, he was a straight up badass, fearless, and he loved his people enough to do these things. So, he's been gone for a month. Rumors circulated again, trying to discredit him. Look, how come this many people are having heart attacks? How come the shitty people ain't having heart attacks? How come, look, I ain't a Trump fan. How come his shitty ass ain't had a heart attack, but then all these other presidents in Africa are having heart attacks? Because Bill Gates is running rampant over there. When this COVID thing first hit, the entire continent of Africa only had 320 cases. Why are you over there testing it? This is about money. The company I work for makes about $12 billion a year, and they clear $6 billion. These pharmaceutical companies are going to make $25 billion off this damn vaccine. This is about money and power, and they don't give a damn who they hurt to get to it. So when somebody disappears, when somebody gets a damn heart attack, when somebody gets anthrax, like, just keep your eyes open, people. Stop falling for the bullshit.
All right, check this out. So following the theme of government-influenced deaths, Michael Hastings was a reporter for the Rolling Stone, and he died on June the 18th, 2013, at the age of 33. His car had smashed into a tree. Reports show that his car accelerated out of control. His car was a brand new Mercedes-Benz that had a computer system in it that could actually be hacked and controlled remotely.
And what did he report on? What was the big article that he did?
He wrote a story for Rolling Stone for a story called The Runaway General. And it was a profile of General Stanley McChrystal, who was the commander of the NATO's forces in Afghanistan. And it documented the widespread contempt for civilian government officials and exhibited by the general and his staff, and ultimately resulted in McChrystal's resignation. Hastings followed up with an article called The Operators, and it detailed an account of his month-long stay with McChrystal in Europe and Afghanistan. Yeah, so Hastings became a vocal critic of the Obama administration, the Democratic Party, and the surveillance state during the 2013 Department of Justice investigations of reporters. He referred to the restrictions on the freedom of the press as a war on journalism. His last story, Why Democrats Love to Spy on Americans, was published on June 7, 2013. And his automobile crash in June 18, 2013 in Los Angeles. Yeah. So, and he published a novel, actually, that came out a year after his death, called The Last Magazine.
Look, the whole point is that these deaths, this is not stuff from the 60s and 70s. This ain't stuff from the 80s, the Cold War. This is stuff going on right now.
And what's going on now is that with the free flow of information, it's harder and harder and harder to cover up the deaths of these people, the assassinations, let's say, of these people.
Yeah.
Everybody we've been talking about now, they've been assassinated. This entire show is about assassinations in the modern era.
But we know, like Patrice Lumumba, the CIA has always done this shit. We get it, and it's cute to read the stuff in the past. But when you sit here and realize it's still being done right now, when you realize that these people are so worried about controlling us, that anything that can get with the internet is hard to keep track of. I get it. They can censor you on Facebook, excuse me. But when it comes to once something really gets out or takes hold or takes traction, they don't know what's going to go viral. They don't know. Or in this day and age, when you got camera phones everywhere. So, look, bottom line, don't work with the Clintons. That can get you killed. That's some crazy shit. But the thing is that this is telling you that these people are worried about what you know, that you could have witnessed something. Or you could hurt their reputation. They care more about their reputation than they care about life itself. They care about money and power. And the government, the American people don't matter. The people of Africa, the continent, the different countries, it don't matter. All they care about is that money. And when my brother was just telling you, they're talking about modern day slavery. All they care about is the youth, the physical population. They don't care about the people. They don't. This is sickening. But you got to beware. Shit, recognize the shit. Stop falling for the.
But there's also more regarding these political intrigue assassinations. Putin, Vladimir Putin, this guy that has been president of Russia for a combined 20 plus years. And he had just signed a bill that allowed him to be president for another 8 years. You see, this guy has a history of poisoning people. The most recent poisoning was of Alexei Navalny, and he was poisoned with a Novichok nerve agent, and it was confirmed by medical doctors that he was poisoned. So this guy, Navalny, is a vocal critic of the Putin administration. Listen, man, these people, they're just gangsters. These people that are having people poisoned and assassinated, this is gangster shit. See, all they did was create this facade that gangster shit has gone away. That gangster shit was something you just saw, on dudes TV, in the street doing.
In books,
or it's some stuff that from like the early 1900s. You know what I'm saying? That the mob doesn't exist anymore. It does. They wear three-piece suits. They have corporations, and they run NGOs. You see?
They get elected. These countries are nothing but big corporations.
No. They don't get elected. They get selected.
So I digress. They get selected for whatever reason. Look, I just saw an article last night. I think I sent it to you about Trump's connections to the mob. These people. All these negative behaviors are when it comes to either corporations, business, or government are rewarded. But when you do those exact same behaviors, oh no, you can't do that. That's sick. That's disgusting. But if you're big enough, far enough up, those exact same behaviors, extortion, rape, strong arm robbery, all that shit is fucking loved. So
look, on November 1st of 2006, Alexander Litvinenko was poisoned, suddenly fell ill, and was hospitalized. He died 3 weeks later, and becoming the first confirmed victim of lethal polonium-210 and acute radiation syndrome. Yeah.
Hey, who was the first report? Remember the first reporter they did that to? They had a little platinum ball, and he got stabbed. He got stabbed.
This is the guy
of the leg. But that's KGB. I thought this was older than that.
No, this ain't KGB. This is 2006.
No, I'm talking about that method was used by the KGB back in the day in the 60s. Yeah, this is not the first reporter that died from it. What they did to this guy, he gets out of Russia. He's talking about the KGB. He's over in France, like at a cafe, and he gets stabbed in the leg with an umbrella, and the guy walks off. Well, he dies a few days later from poisoning because they had a little platinum ball that had that some kind of I can't think of what it is. Forgive me, I'm old, but that they've been doing this for years. This poisoning, this radiation poisoning, is a very painful way to die. It is very effective, but these former KGB officers have been using that technique for many years.
Dude, Anna Politkovskaya, she published a book called Putin's Russia. She accused Putin of turning his country into a police state. She was murdered by contract killers who shot her at point-blank range in a elevator outside of her apartment. Dude, there's another person, Natalie Estemirova, and she was a journalist that sometimes worked with the woman I just mentioned. She was killed also around the same time. She specialized...
Ross, tell them, we're not trying to scare you. We're not trying to scare people. We're just trying to enlighten you that this shit is real.
She specialized in uncovering human rights abuses carried out by the Russian state in Chechnya. She was abducted from outside her home and later found in nearby woods with gunshot wounds to her head. No one has been convicted of her murder. Dude, Stanislav Markelov and Anastasia Baburova, human rights lawyers, represented the woman that wrote the book Putin's Russia, was shot by a masked gunman near the Kremlin. So check this out. They're tying up all the loose ends. The lawyers that protected, that defended the woman that wrote the book about Putin's Russia, and her assistant were killed. That's 4 people related to that book. That book must have some serious shit in it, dude. Dude, Boris.
I remember.
Hold on.
You remember, like in '96, we were talking about Steve Coakley. These are the things that he would talk about. Like he was a reporter. He started out as a reporter, but he would name all these different people, and you would think like, this is not conspiracy theory. There's no way that many people associated with the Clintons could be dying from unnatural causes. It's ridiculous.
Dude, Boris Nemtsov was a former deputy prime minister of Russia under Boris Yeltsin, who went on to become a big critic of Putin, accused him of paying off oil oligarchs.
Yep.
Dude, there's more. There's a ton more, man. This guy is just like the Clintons. He is the Russian version of the Clintons, but he's former KGB.
How much is he worth? But you got to remember, how much is he worth? Now, this is what we always tell people. Okay, when you look at how much Putin is worth, according to Forbes, Fortune magazine, he's worth about $8 billion. But whenever you check with the BBC he says he's worth $200 billion. How can you have that big a discrepancy? So whatever he's into, illegal or illegal, or the guy's one of the richest.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because the guy that was the former Paul Klebnikov was the chief editor of the Russian edition of Forbes, and he written about corruption and dug into the lives of wealthy Russians. He was killed in a drive-by shooting in apparent contract killing. So he was just talking about that shit, and I'm like, here it is. This motherfucker was just talking about how fucking corrupt Russian politicians are and where their wealth comes from. Dude.
like I said, this is not to scare you. This is just to enlighten you. We don't want to stifle you from, if you find some shit or you see some shit, we don't want you stifled. But like, even on a local level, do you remember, I know that's a dumb question. Excuse me, my brother. You remember the Rodney King tape. What happened to the people that own the Rodney King tape? Remember when Rodney King got beat up? They were harassed by the LA police. It happens on a low level too. So if you know why we always tell you like, hey, the Second Amendment is important, it's for shit like this. It's because to get the truth out there, you might ruffle some feathers. But if somebody comes after you, you need to be able to protect yourself, because this shit right here is everywhere. It's not just on TV. It's not just New York. This shit is all over the place.
Fred Hampton was a member of the Black Panther Party. He was murdered on December the 4th, 1969 in Chicago. The story that surrounds his death involves a plant within the Panthers who was an FBI agent who gave information to the police and told them where he was going to be and encouraged him to sit at home and be there so that when the police showed up in the middle of the night with FBI agents to murder him and almost everybody in the house except for his pregnant wife. You see, what this represents is the federal government's involvement in COINTELPRO,
day-to-day life,
in COINTELPRO, in black nationalism, in suppressing black pride, in suppressing black individualism, in maintaining a narrative. Be a good Negro. Don't speak up. You'll get your place in line. Just be quiet. And Fred Hampton, what he was doing is he was railing against the narrative that blacks and whites have to be separate and we can't work together. So what he did is he gathered a bunch of poor white folks who were tired of
Yep.
being shit on. And when the FBI caught wind of this, they said, all right, now's the time to kill him. Because it was J. Edgar Hoover who said there will not be a black messiah. And the way this guy was gaining so much attention and such a huge following so fast, it was messianic, like a messiah.
They didn't want another Malcolm X. They didn't want another Martin Luther King. Even they thought you were. They killed you. It was that simple. And I'm sure there's some that we don't even know about. I'm sure there's some people on the rising that probably never made it just because of this reason right here. But this is legit. They do not want somebody to unite black people. They don't want that.
Right. And what's crazy is that there were black agents. There were black informants that turned on the people because those same ones killed Malcolm X. You see, those black FBI agents worked with the police and had Malcolm X killed in New York City. You see, this infiltration of the black community has happened for a long time. But for a second, let's talk about Patrice Lumumba. He was a Congolese politician and an independent
Democratic
leader.
election. He was elected. I thought we loved democracy.
Yeah, he was. But see, but here's the thing, though. He was killed because his ideas were too revolutionary. You see, he played a significant role in the transformation of Congo from a colony of Belgium into an independent republic. Ideologically an African nationalist and a Pan-Africanist, he led the Congolese National Movement Party from 1958 until his assassination. Yeah. So shortly after the Congolese independence in 1960, a mutiny broke out in the army, marking the beginning of the Congo crisis. And Lumumba appealed to the United States for help and the United Nations for help to suppress the Belgian-supported Katangan secessionists. But both refused. So he then turned to the Soviet Union for support.
That's what got his ass killed.
Now, this is the crazy part where shit gets fucking sideways, is that Che Guevara was involved in this. Yeah.
These are all messy conversations, and they're going to hurt your feelings if you have them. And when you start researching who did what to who, it just gets uglier and uglier. That's all I can tell you.
No, but see, a lot of people, they want to follow a narrative, but they don't want to fucking do the research. They want to be lazy revolutionaries.
No, they want to be educated from memes and T-shirts. See, when you're educated from memes and T-shirts and not from books and actual history, you can end up on the wrong side of history a lot.
Yeah, no doubt, and it's clearly happening still to this day, because, dude, I mean, we were just talking earlier, and you said that the black woman that had a child with Bill Clinton was a crackhead, and see what that is that's something that we're so familiar with crackheads. We're like, you know what? She probably was a crackhead. When in actuality, that probably was not the case at all. You know what I'm saying? What did Dave Chappelle say? Dave Chappelle said the police are just you could be completely innocent. All they gotta do is sprinkle some crack on you.
Sprinkle some, dude. Hey, go. I hate having personal conversations, but I remember when I first got into guns, and somebody had said, "What if the police do this?" I said, "That's what my friends are for. That's what Roscoe's for. That's what if I end up in a police shootout and they say that I was selling drugs or doing anything illegal, y'all know that ain't the case.
Correct.
I need the people who, and that's why we were talking about DMX earlier. The whole thing is that he was on a drug overdose, but the family's coming out saying like, nah, he wasn't on drugs at the time. They weren't available to him. They're saying that he took the vaccine and that Malcolm X said it first, and he said it best. He said the media will have you cheering for the wrong person and hating the wrong person, and that's what happened. And the media is one of the most powerful things going back to biblical times, because what makes Jews special is they've been controlling the media for thousands of years. They know if you put this in print, then people can recite this. If you film this, you can do this. That's why the whole. I'm not saying that the atrocities that happened in Germany didn't happen. I'm saying that these Jews have filmed the shit. If you were able to film slavery at its height, we would probably have the same sympathy. Black people in America would have the same sympathy. But the bottom line is that whoever controls a narrative has complete power over people's minds and their opinions. That's what's so important nowadays.
See, DMX got the vaccine when it became available for people 50 and older because he had just turned 50. But he got it so he could travel and perform. See? So, yeah.
All you could do is sigh. There are no words. Look, I get it. DMX had a rough life. He had a super rough life.
And that's the thing. But that's the whole crackhead blanket they want to throw over the situation.
You feel me now? Because like people like, oh man, he's just no. That's not an excuse. It hurts because I really was a DMX fan. You know, I could relate. He did a lot, blah blah blah, whatever. But the thing is this: that the narrative is controlled by the media, and the first thing we heard was that he had relapsed, and we're like, oh damn, he relapsed again, and that's real dismissive. You know, that's like calling somebody crazy. Like Dave Chappelle said, you know, when they were asking, is Martin crazy? Like, man, that's real dismissive. I know Martin. That's a strong dude. He helped. You know, like I remember when Martin was going. Dave was like, I ain't gonna talk bad about that guy. And this is the control of this cancel media shit, which Dave made fun of. Even when you watch like the R. Kelly shit, they're kicking dirt on Dave Chappelle's name. Dave said, I don't know the nigga. I can't comment on this shit. I was just making fun of him, and you guys want me to go on a video saying some shit I can't say. The truth don't matter anymore. It just matters how people feel. And right now, what we're trying to get across to y'all is that people are being killed because they're doing the right thing. That's not cool.
What did Steve Coakley die from?
Old age.
Are you sure?
You know what? No, I am not. It might have been a heart attack. That's a tough one because, oh my God, what did he die of? Google that one because, you know, before Day Day passed.
I'm not going to use Google. I'm not going to use Google. I'm going to use another search engine.
That's fine. That's fine. I meant search it. I meant look it up online. But remember the homeboy before he passed, met him, and we were making tapes of his old stuff. He gave us permission. He said, "Go ahead, brother. I don't need a dime from y'all." He was so cool about it because my friend told him before he passed, like, "Hey, bro, we've been bootlegging your shit."
Dude,
he said, "Go ahead."
Dude, Dick Gregory is under the impression that Steve Coakley was killed.
Yeah. Oh, and Dick said the same thing going back to King that Jesse was in on it. These are the conversations that we have in private, y'all. So I'm sorry if we.
No, ain't no fucking apologize. This is the shit they need to hear.
Yes, Jesse Jackson was in on it. We all know that. That's when you hear us talk about the boule. This is the shit we're talking about. Steve Coakley, basically what Roscoe was saying earlier. Steve Coakley broke down about the United Way. During one of the best ones, he talks about the United Way, and he looked at the mission statement for the United Way. When you look at the mission statement now, it's about this, that, and he said it's not about putting NFL players with retarded kids. And when you read the old mission statement, like in 94, 95, it says monitoring urban city something. Basically, it's monitoring different minority groups, and that's some crazy shit. But yeah, that was the actual mission statement for the United Way. Then you realize like these people don't care about you. They give you a little bit of money, find out they're putting their pulse on the black community, finding out where the next black messiah is. That kind of stuff. This is the whole Trilateral World Commission was set up like this, and it's some crazy shit. But you guys do your research on Steve Coakley. Damn, man, you got me on this one, Roscoe. Maybe Coakley was killed because he was fearless. He said everything. He was a real reporter. He had been on CNN. He had been on all the different shows. He was a G. He was a G for black people. That's why this black middle class is so important, because when you kill off the black middle class, you kill off any possibility of creating these people, these black icons. You kill that shit.
Yep. But okay. Extraordinary rendition is also called an irregular rendition or forced rendition, and is the government-sponsored abduction and extrajudicial transfer of a person from one country to another with the purpose of circumventing the former country's laws on
Extradition laws.
interrogation, detention, extradition, and or torture.
What's it called again? Give me that name again.
Extraordinary rendition.
Extraordinary rendition. Okay. Okay. I dig it.
Yeah.
Shit.
So the crazy part about it is the act of labeling Americans as terrorists, as domestic terrorists, allowed for a rendition within the United States. So now you can be scooped up
Ooh,
and
that's
bodied
deep.
on American
But
soil by the United States government with
or
no
by
explanation whatsoever.
or by the UN or another nation if they deem you a terrorist. That's all it takes is for somebody to be deemed a terrorist, and they can snatch your ass. Oh, golly. Whew.
See? And
Uh,
it's increasing accountability and oversight, which is actually disappearing. So when you first heard about rendition, it was during the Iraq War. More specifically, it was after Abu Ghraib, because 2003, 2004, after Abu Ghraib, you started hearing about people being rounded up on the streets of Iraq and Afghanistan. And then the Obama administration passed a law that allowed people to be prosecuted as terrorists on American soil, but it also allowed for renditions on American soil as well. So, what we have been talking about on this show is how your ass can be taken out for speaking up, which means you need to speak out even more. And here's why. Do not fear death. You see, that is the greatest tool that
That's the
the
hustle.
invisible hand has over you, is your fear of death.
No,
Because,
your life is not to be blackmailed to stop you from doing what's right.
correct. And so it is also that fear of death that they use for transcendence, for extreme life extension through cybernetics, through merging with artificial intelligence, with merging by putting a computer chip or hardware inside your head to extend your life so that they can upload your consciousness from one body into another
To
body.
another.
You know what that is? Those are motherfuckers that don't believe in God. Okay? Those are people who don't believe in an afterlife and they're scared of shit of dying. Because the same people that are fucking scared about dying are the first people to sign up to have a computer put in their head so they can transfer their consciousness. Because those same people are the Karens and the Chads of the world and the house niggas that sold out Malcolm X and Fred Hampton and Lumumba and everybody else. Those are the
Look,
same.
why do you why you think?
Those are the boule motherfuckers that we talk about on this show that Steve
Yes,
Coakley talked about.
yes.
Those Negroes are the same ones that are getting on TV, on these commercials, on social media saying, get the vaccine, it's safe.
That you knew where I was going
Those same people
with
are going to
that.
be the first people that want to get that chip in the head. It's safe, it's free. Those same people are the same people, are the same ones that are telling you that this genetic passport, that this vaccination passport is a good
Passport.
thing, that it's okay for us to listen to a
They're
bunch of
using your fear of dying against you.
Nazis.
Bullshit. Look,
Show me your papers.
I
Show me your papers.
look. I asked my pastor about that. Like, hey, are you going to endorse the vaccine? He put down his crab leg, looked at me. He said, I'm not a doctor. No, I'm not endorsing that. No, I'm going to tell you, refer to your physician. I'm not blankly endorsing anything. And he said, I'm from Alabama. I know about needles. Tuskegee.
Oh,
I'm
look at that. Tuskegee.
not,
I'm from Alabama.
so
I don't like needles.
what we're saying is that yes, they can kill you, but they can't kill your spirit, your power. So don't fear death. But I'm not saying being stupid either. I'm not saying run out in the street and do some crazy shit. I'm saying that if you see something, if you know something, don't let your fear. You can do so much shit anonymously now. You can pass it on 3 or 4 different people, get that shit out there, get that message out there. But what it does tell you is that not even a president of a nation is safe from the bullshit. So if that president ain't safe, who's to say ours is safe? Who's to say ours ain't just a figurehead? Screw this shit. So it matters what you do, it matters what you think, but don't fall for the bullshit and don't be scared of this shit. You can't let your fear dictate. That's why this vaccine, excuse me, is selling like it is, because believe me, this being sold because people are afraid. You want confidence. You want some kind of assurance. Well, you don't get that in life. You don't, either you're fucking or you're watching. You can't be. Oh, I'm saying this. When AIDS was at its height, did people stop having sex? Shit. They didn't ask for no vaccine either. So stop thinking that somebody can give you something to make you live. You don't need permission to be fucking awesome. And when we're telling you that these motherfuckers are getting ghosted, pay attention to why. Fuck the fact that they died. Find out why. That's what you need to be concerned with.
So, in closing, I want to say rest in peace to two people. These people are at two different ends of the spectrum of this conversation. The first being DMX. He was a complete human being, flawed with all his flaws, warts and all. But he took the vaccine, probably didn't question it at all, and he died as a result of it. On the other end of this conversation is John Magufuli, former president of Tanzania, who died this March. May he rest in peace. He was a true warrior, a man of the people who fought against the darkness, and it cost him his life. But let his life be an example to show that he made the greatest sacrifice for us, to show us the way that you cannot fear death, and you got to speak truth to power, and you have to act using what you have at your disposal.
And you can't love money more than you love life, because that's what these people are using money to bribe people and all this shit. Fuck that. Life is more important than money.
We out. Peace.
Holla back.